Let's add some presentation to our structure now with CSS. Starting right from the top, we'll work kind of methodically through the content, top to bottom. We did add a couple of bits of style in the last video just to get us up and running. We've reset our margins and padding, and we've also added a font, which we can see here, which is awesome. Let's just keep an eye on what we're going to style. To start with, let's style the wrapper itself. So we've got a rule for our body. The next thing in line is the wrapper, and I generally work kind of in a linear way like that down through the document. So we want to target this class of wrapper. So let's add, oops, I need to spell it correctly, always helps. Let's target that wrapper. Inside the wrapper we want to do a couple of things. We want to add some padding to the left and right. We can do it like this, padding left. We've got 20 pixels to start with. Padding right. 20 pixels as well. So you can see that that's brought those elements in, so it's got a little bit of kind of breathing room around the edges there. What else do we want to do there? We want to make our material, or our content fluid and our wrapper fluid, but we want it to have a max width. So I'm going to add in a max width of, and it's going to be, well, I want it to be quite wide, 960 pixels. And oh yeah, we can see that. So when it come out past 960, it keeps everything to that 960 width. I actually designed it a bit wider than that. In fact, if you go back and have a look in the XD document, but my computer screen isn't actually big enough to code it and look at it at the same time for this video, so I've just made it a little bit thinner. We also want that content to float in the center and have auto margins on the right and left. So I'm going to add margin left of auto. And also a margin on the right of auto. There are quicker ways of writing that, but that's perfect. So we can see now that when we get beyond 960, which is our max width, that content is floating in the center of the document, of the center of the browser window, which is great. All right, so that's our wrapper done. Styled our wrapper. And we need that wrapper so that we can center this material in here. Because over here we've got our body, and inside that we've got our wrapper. Awesome. All right, moving on. Inside the wrapper, the first thing that we come across is that header tag. Now, with a class, you add a dot at the front, but with an actual tag, you don't have to do that. You can just write header. And you can see in CodePen, it colors an actual tag in green and a class in that other red kind of color. So what do we want to add to our header? Well, let's have a look at what's in there. Firstly, I think that we can add some flex so that those two items sit next to each other instead of on top of each other. So adding flex box. And you can see they're sitting next to each other. But we want to spread them out across the page, so one's on the left and one's on the right. So we could use the justify content, space between. To get those guys on either ends of the browser window, and also to align them vertically, we're going to align items center. Now they're looking a little bit more balanced. That's pretty good. I'm going to space them out a bit. So a bit of padding top, 20 pixels. And padding bottom. We could use margin as well. Come to think of it, margin will probably be more flexible, but padding works just the same to give a bit more space there and there. Super good. So that's our header. Let's style a couple of things inside our header. So on the left, we've got our logo here, and on the right, we've got our menu button, which we don't really need to do much with that menu button, but we do want to style this so it looks a little bit more like a logo. To do that, I want to add a class here, class in this div of, I don't know, let's call it logo. I'm going to call it logo temp because we might swap that out later for an actual graphic. So we'll call it logo temp, and we'll, in our CSS, we will target the logo temp. Oops. And I kept that little bit of code over here for the Pacifico font family. Awesome. Now it is an anchor tag. It's kind of wrapped in an anchor tag. So let's go in and style the anchor tag so we can take away some of that kind of blue link underline look. So let's target any anchor tags inside logo temp. Take away the line with text decoration. Set that to none. I spelled that incorrectly or something. I think I may have gone about that the wrong way. I think I want to target logo temp and any anchor tags inside logo temp. Yeah, that looks better. Let's color that link, and color on my design is a grey. I just want to make it a little bit bigger. And for this design, I'm working in pixel sizes. Alright, so we've got our header happening. Let's go and look at our intro. So let's target that little guy. Have a look at it here, intro. And actually, I don't know if there's anything I want to do to the actual div class at the moment. I think that I want to target the H1 inside there though, so I want to target this stuff specifically. Going to make it a thinner font. Just the regular. Resize it. So we'll resize it for the mobile size first. So we want it a little bit smaller on our mobile. 32, no, even smaller, 24. Maybe open up the leading a little bit. And put it into our color palette. And finally, just a little bit of padding, top and bottom. Again, I probably could have used margins there. Ripper, looking good. We'll skip past the gallery and we'll come back to the gallery in another video. But let's style our footer. We're going to be done for this first part of the styling footer. Really easy. It's a native tag. Oops. Yeah, that's right. You can see that it's green. We're just going to change the font size. I don't know if that's the right font size, but we can come back and adjust that later. One thing that I do want to do is add a hover state, just before we sign off, add a hover state to our anchor tag for our logo here. So let me just copy this, we'll go underneath that tag there and add in the hover. Oops. And we'll just change the color of that hover state to maybe just a lighter. Oops, a lighter tone, a darker tone, sorry. That's good. All right, so we have all of our, we have the main presentation elements in place for our most of our structure.